How's it going, everyone? Grant Cohn, Coach Noah Johnston. Kyle Shanahan just talked. George Kittle just talked. He's questionable. Didn't practice the first 2 days, Wednesday, Thursday. Was limited today, which I never understand what that means. It's walkthrough day. So he was limited in his walking. Anyway, it seems like he's going to try to play this game. More information that's interesting about it, though. This was week 1. He injured his calf week 1, and I guess they've been managing it. And clearly they felt they needed a lot of Kittle to win that game, and it came at a price. So the more they play Kittle, the more this will be an issue. This is a lingerer, and it's something that could be an issue beyond this week. So if he does play and he does gut it out, soft tissue injury, it could get worse. I mean, it got worse last week. This is a week 1 injury. So how do you see this playing out?
His small little wide receiver calf.
Yup.
I think he'll play. I mean, Kittle's the type of player that'll gut it out if he can.
Of course.
Right. So
and they need it. But at the same time, don't they have to be careful with him?
I would think so.
Yeah. And they've been careful. I think that we've been like, why aren't they using Kittle? Why aren't they getting the ball down the field? Calf injury. That explains it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's September.
Right. This is the whole 49ers problem reeling itself all over again, right? Like injuries. Seems to be an oft injured players, injured every year. I mean, this is part of the reason last year, right? Where you just said, hey, remember, well, I think he called you out for you, like, just don't play the rest of the year, dude. Just
practice it a little hard out. Yeah.
Go get surgery on the shoulder that you need to get. Like, there was no reason to play then.
I tried to tell you, George.
Yeah. Dog.
And now he got hurt week 1, and they've been trying their best to manage it, but they needed him to go down the field on that final drive. He made a great play, but it aggravated an injury, and now he may not be able to play in this game. And if he does, he could be, again, an offensive lineman, which is what he was week 2. And everyone's like, why are you using him like that? He could be an offensive lineman. He could be a decoy. He could be a guy who catches a few passes in the flat and tries to break a couple of tackles. But they may not ask him to get like full stride, full speed. God forbid he makes this worse. And actually, I mean, calf injuries are serious.
I'd be interested to see when the 49ers finally do move on from Garoppolo and someone else throwing the football, and they can do more things vertically and stuff like that and get him more in space. Is he going to be less injury prone? Because it seems like all the 49ers wide receivers, they all have to take contact. Like, that's,
Well, the ironic thing about Kittle, though, is his injuries the last couple of years have come receiving downfield. One was he broke his foot trying to catch a pass while running, and then this one seems like another running injury. Strange. It almost seems like they're both non-contact.
Yeah, I mean, he and also, like, you commented how he looks like he changed his body type a little bit to be more
light on his feet.
Yeah, well, I don't know why, since he's playing offensive tackle, 50% of the time.
Anyway, so what I'm saying with Kittle is I expect he'll play. It's a big game. They need him. But I also expect he'll be more limited than he was last week, and they'll be more careful with him than they were last week.
Do you think
not a big game from Kittle coming up, I don't think.
Do you think him and Michael McGlinchey should switch positions?
I was thinking earlier ways to get the running game going was to just sit Kittle down if he's not playing well and use McGlinchey at tight end and bring in Jalen Moore to play right tackle and go 6-man offensive line. Because right now, Brunskill and Mack need help, man. They need something else. Anyway, let's talk defense, because D'Amico Ryans needs some help. Nick Bosa just threw him under the bus, backed the bus over him, and then went forward, back repeatedly yesterday. When he said, yeah, we have the adjustments. We just didn't get them called, and I don't know why. But I expect we will in the future. It's basically saying the rookie defensive coordinator didn't adjust on time. So there are adjustments. What are these adjustments to Chips? How do you fix this?
Well, there's a couple things. And the first thing that I saw, I think, was actually done on the play where Bosa gets chipped and he gets blindsided, and the first thing that can be done is you can alert defensive end that's coming, and you could see it on film that he's being alerted by Al Shair. He's alerting him. I don't know if Bosa didn't hear it or he figured it looked like there was a stun, or he didn't think it mattered because he was going inside, but it did. So that's the first thing you can do is your linebackers and defensive backs, if there's not a guy outside of the defensive end or he's motioning and he's not there to begin with, and he comes in, have the linebacker, the safety alert, or the DB alert the defensive end so he's ready.
Okay, that's one.
That's the first thing.
Okay.
And the second thing is preparing them beforehand, because if you're talking about a guy, if he's chipping with outside, if he's chipping with outside leverage, remember this is a Y9, so the Niners defensive ends aren't used to a guy outside of them because the whole team is right. So it's a different type of thing for a defensive lineman because you're playing with an inside technique where you're talking about we call it sight key, pressure key. So your sight key is inside, is inside, but your pressure key is outside. So your first thing is protect yourself, opening yourself up outside to protect yourself from that block. So I would say the first thing I would do is in practice is go over that when you know there's a guy coming from outside of you, be able to protect yourself, take him on, and then beat the man and then go inside. That's another thing. And the other thing, they were talking about games and stunts. I like overloading a side, right? Because if they're chipping and you overload a side, then that tight end or back has to let a blitzer or an extra man go free at the expense of chipping the defensive end.
Got it.
So you can run games to overload, but you can add guys on. You can run zone fires to add overloading aside. That's another thing that can be done.
Trey Niner says, I watched the game again and I only saw 4 or 5 chips the entire game. Bosa just wasn't beating the tackle in that game. Chips aren't the issue.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, you're right. It's not. They didn't not get a pass rush that game because they're getting chipped. It's some of it is they just have to win. And then there's just some things are some unfortunate calls, like when they needed pressure. Ryan's called a zone drop where they're dropping 8. So there's some of that too.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is I think you tweeted it out, and I know a bunch of people have, but Rodgers got rid of the ball very quickly. That was part of their game plan.
Mm-hmm. What do you see as the issue with the 49ers run defense right now? Giving up a lot of yards per carry.
A lot of people are talking about the defensive line, and some of that's true, but I think it's the linebackers. A lot of it is they're very slow to react to run, and I'm sorry, linebackers and safeties, because their safeties have to add into the run game. So they're very slow to react to run, and from what I'm looking is I don't know that they're aligned properly, and I don't know. To me, it seems like they're aligning themselves and reacting for pass first rather than run. And maybe they were able to do that in the past. And in the NFL, it's pass first. It's a pass league, but they're getting hurt with the run, so they might have to make some adjustments. And what I would mean by that is one of the things in run defense, it's angles, because if offensive lineman has a good angle on you, he's going to cut you off from getting to your gap. So positioning yourself in relation to your defensive line and your other run defenders, so that you can fit the gap and cut off the offensive line. So I think there's reaction and then alignment. I think those are two big things for the linebackers. That's what I see.
Okay, what do you see with the pass defense?
I think a lot of it is Lenore. These teams are attacking him. He's a rookie. He's a rookie 5th round pick. and he's making mistakes. So teams are going to continue to attack him while he's on the field. So obviously we know Verrett is out and they're down corners, but they're attacking Diamador.
For good reason, right?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. What are you seeing from Diamador?
I think missed assignments. To me, you talked about it in the final drive of the game, how it's supposed to be 2-man, but he's playing like an off zone look.
What the hell was that? How does that happen, Coach? How does that happen? You get in the huddle, they say 2 deep man under or whatever, 2-man, and you're like, okay, quarters, let's go.
The only thing I think is in that moment, right there, and you're playing a soft zone, but like I think in his mind maybe he's thinking that, oh, I can give a lot of ground because there's 30 seconds left, and he didn't have the awareness.
So instead of using the technique they taught me, I'm going to freelance here. I got this, guys. I got a feeling. I'm 22. I've been in the league 3 games. I'm covering Devontae Adams, but I'm going to do this my way. See how this goes.
I don't know. I think it's that I don't know that he had the situational awareness to know that, yeah, there's 30 seconds left, but like if they get 20 or 30 yards, then they have a realistic chance of winning the game. Like, yeah, you have to play conservative, but don't just let the guy free release. Like, you still have to play your technique. That's why I'm not really a huge fan of just playing. I don't want to call that wasn't prevent defense, but just playing a soft zone at the end of the game, just because I think a lot of times you end up giving up plays like that, like just because you get that soft mentality in your mind, rather than just playing the way. If you just play the way that you normally play it, you probably stop those plays, and everyone else did except for Diamador.
Yep. Explain this one to me. Trey Lance's coach throwing shade at starting rookie quarterbacks.
I don't know. I don't know what's up with that, but all I know is last night. I don't know if you caught any of that game, but Trevor Lawrence looked fine. I mean, yeah, I know they almost won that game. Joe Burrow threw for like 300 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns. He won them, led them on a game-winning drive. Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, they weren't traumatized from playing their rookie year, right? Like, so Burrow was physically traumatized because he wasn't protected.
Right.
But
like what happened to Joe Burrow's worst case scenario, right? But you could see the difference between him and Lawrence because one guy's in his second year and one guy has more experience than the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was on with Rob Shu earlier today, and he was saying, like, is it smart for the Niners to shield Lance from all this adversity that the young quarterbacks are going through? My answer was, I guess we'll find out next year. We'll see, what does Mac Jones look like next year with all this experience under his belt? Same with Fields, same with Lawrence, same with Wilson. While really Lance is in his first year as a starter, coming off 2 years on the bench. We'll see.
Yeah, the one thing that I would say is that, like, I don't know if I want him. I mean, going through what Zach Wilson is going through in New York, is just getting destroyed back there. And I don't want to say that the 49ers offensive line is protecting on that level as bad as they are, but last week was not good for his protection.
No.
And you don't.
So whose coach was it throwing shade? I'm confused. What happened?
It was Quincy. It's
okay.
Quincy Avery. I think it's Quincy Avery. His one of his quarterbacks coach, Trey Lance quarterback coach, was talking about how he thinks that all rookies should sit.
Really?
Yeah.
Trey Lance's coach, Quincy Avery, said all rookie quarterbacks should sit.
Yeah.
That's weird. Interesting take, Quincy. So you agree that Trey Lance shouldn't be starting right now? That's what you're saying. That's weird.
That's what he apparently feels. Well, he said all rookie quarterbacks. not just
Interesting take there. We'll see which quarterbacks look best next year. I have a feeling playing this year will help some of them.
Did you know Justin Herbert's rookie year was better than Jimmy Garoppolo's best year?
Yeah, but he wasn't ready. He was just a rookie. You can't. Why would you play a quarterback his rookie year? It's terrible.
You know that there was a coach over in San Diego that didn't want to play him, and how'd that work out?
Yeah, how'd that work out? He really took the conservative approach just in case that he got fired. Yeah. All right, let's come back to this game. We know the Seahawks have a terrible defense. We watched Kirk Cousins light him up like he was freaking Peyton Manning in his prime last week. Can Jimmy do that? I mean, it's just Kirk Cousins.
You know, Kyle's probably watching the film like awe of Kirk Cousins, just like
yeah.
It's like, hey guys, look what Kirk. Look, check this out. Look.
I told you guys.
Yeah.
So do you think Jimmy can do that? Do the Niners have? I mean, they have Debo. I mean, they have the wide receivers to pull it off.
They have the weapons. I don't think so. They always start. Aside from the Detroit game, they start slow. Like you gotta play a full football game, not 30 minutes, not 40 minutes. They need to play an entire football game. And so far, we haven't. Even the end of they didn't do it in Detroit because they didn't play the end of the football game. So you have to play the entire football game, and just doing it for a half isn't enough. Or at the end of the game, like it's nice you lead a heroic drive, but what about the entire first half?
Yeah.
If you played the first half, you wouldn't have put yourself in a position to have to make a heroic.
The way I see it, though, is that like what you're taking advantage here on the Seahawks defense is their cornerbacks. I mean, their cornerbacks are Trey Flowers and DJ Reed. Like, not great, kind of like the Niners cornerbacks. But that's not what Jimmy does. He doesn't really take advantage of cornerbacks outside the numbers. That's not really what he does.
No, it's not
short, and he throws over the middle. So it seems like the Seahawks are probably going to have a pretty good. They'll just play cover 3. Just play cover 3. Put one guy in the middle of the field, a bunch of guys underneath, and dare him to go long and go outside the numbers, please.
And you're going to let Jamal Adams do what he loves to do, is play near the line of scrimmage.
Play it, speed near the line of scrimmage. Yeah, play 8-man boxes. See, here's the thing. The Niners, if they have the wide receivers to go throw for throw, big play for big play with the Seahawks, but they don't have the quarterback. So with this quarterback, they're going to have to do like ball control, slow drives, which could work, but I don't know if they have the run game to pull that off right now. Right? Like, and it's not that their run game's horrendous. It's that they don't have schematic answers for these 5- and 6-man fronts that they're seeing.
And that's why I'll defend Kyle and the 49ers a little bit as far as like, oh, they're not taking deep shots. Well, why would you take deep shots when Jimmy can't hit them? He's going to throw it.
They took one Sunday night.
Right.
How'd that go?
So why would you put that in the game plan when your quarterback?
I mean, if you want turnovers, you would definitely put that in the game plan.
Right. It's like if you're getting on me as a defensive coordinator for not running man, but I've got like
no corners.
Yeah, right. I've got Brian Allen out there. Like,
of course. Yeah.
So
I don't think they're going to be trying to take advantage of DJ Reed and Trey Flowers. Like they'll take advantage of them on the digs over the middle, but they're going to get a lot of zone coverage, cover 3, and Jimmy's going to have to throw the ball outside at some point. Okay.
Yeah,
he will.
And I don't know if he's going to be able to.
Is this the week they play Trey Lance?
Unless
they're just going to get smacked without him.
If Jimmy gets hurt, they'll play him. But
Jimmy got hurt last time they played him.
Or,
you know what Jimmy did the last time he played the Seahawks?
Or if the game's just so out of hand. If it's just so out of hand.
11-16, 84 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, left the game early. And that was in Seattle, but there were no fans there.
Right.
It was a quiet game.
You know what's interesting about, I was thinking about Seattle, is that Seattle does the same thing with their corners as the 49ers do. Is they draft them late and look, they're both in the same position.
Because Seattle's been so committed to zone defense for 10 years, and now they're like, ooh, we got to
The thing is, like, you still need good corners for zone defense. Like let's not act like Richard Sherman wasn't a good corner. He was an excellent corner. He was
right.
Zone.
But it's like they were looking for different traits than the rest of the league at cornerback, so they were able to find like premium talents late in the draft. They're being overlooked, but now a lot of people run this scheme, and the things they're looking for are the things that a lot of other people are looking for. So even those corners go higher up in the draft too. So you can't really bargain bin shop at cornerback anymore. You can't.
No, but you bargain bin shopping at corner like second round. Like that's
right. That's right. Like the 45th pick. That's
bargain bin basement shopping.
All right, the other side of this, and then we'll finish up. How will the Niners defense hold up? They have to go against DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and find a way to contain Russell Wilson. On paper, they can't. How does this play out?
I think the way I see this game is I think the Niners defense it seems to at moments it will stand up. Like we've seen them in moments like in the first half against Green Bay, like when they had to make an end zone red zone stop, they did on fourth. So they'll give you those moments. But the thing about it is the offense has to take advantage during that time. When your defense does step up and give you those moments, that's why it's so important for the offense to play the entire game, because the defense seemingly will give you some of those moments, but they're not going to be able to do it the entire game. Like they'll be able to hold water a little bit, but they're not going to be able to do it the entire game. And for me, I think the defensive line has to show up in this game. Chips, not chips, whatever. There can't be excuses. They've got to show up. Nick Bosa has to make himself known in this game. D Ford, Eric Armstead, it has to be Nick Bosa and somebody else. Like they got to make plays. Like that's the premier unit on the defense. They need to make plays.
I'm going to look at it a different way. I'm going to focus on the safeties here, Tart and Ward. I think they need to play back and not give up big plays. This defense has been giving up some huge plays. And I know it's hard to play back against the Seahawks because they're going to run on two deep safeties. But I'd rather Chris Carson get the ball than DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett. And so this Niners defense is going to have to stop the run with 7 in the box. You can't give up big plays in the pass game or you're going to lose in the first half.
Well, that's what I would do. That's what I would do if I were D'Amico Ryans is I would play it, so give up the run.
Yeah.
Especially if your offense isn't going to show up, then just die by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah, you can't give up the big plays. You can't.
Like slow, make them bleed slow. At least it'll eat up time, and because if you get hit with big plays, it's going to be like 35-0, 35-0. A lot worse than 17-0 in the first half. So
they're going to come out firing. They have no respect for these Niners. I mean, Mosley's already gotten torched by DK Metcalf. His counterpart is Diamador Lenore. Mosley's better than him. So there's going to be no respect. Anytime there's a single high safety, it's a deep shot. Anytime.
Russell Wilson does not fear the 49ers. I think he's got some absurd record versus 14 and
3 or 4. Yeah.
He loves playing the 49ers. It's might be his favorite team to play.
So I just don't see how the Niners hold up in this. Their defense holds up. I mean, they can try to keep everything in front of them, not give up the big play, but they might just give up 5 yards a carry in this game. And it's hard to beat Seattle when they're averaging 5 yards a carry. It's just, I don't know. Also, when your running game isn't working, it's hard to beat a team like that.
Right, and that's the thing, and I think that's what we're seeing is we've talked about before is Jimmy Garoppolo can succeed when he has a running game. When he doesn't have a running game, it's difficult for him.
And I think what the Seahawks do a really good job of, or at least last year, is playing that 6-man front, taking away the Niners' identity on offense, their running game, and making the whole thing go through Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, and Kyle, Kyle needs to use actual running backs. Don't use Kyle Juszczyk as a.
I hated that. First play of the game, you hand off to Juszczyk. What's the point? The most you're going to get is 4 yards. What's the point? You got to have something better than that.
No, like you can't tell me any of those guys can't run one of those can't run a zone play. Like You can't hand the ball off.
Kyle Juszczyk is a better ball carrier than Kerryon Johnson. Really? That doesn't make sense. I don't believe that. Doesn't make any sense.
He needs to play those guys. He needs to play those guys.
It's not about Jimmy versus Lance on who should play. It's about Jimmy versus his contract. He's not worth it. What do those millions mean for the team now? It's too late.
Yeah, it's too late for that now. I mean, like, even if they traded him or cut him tomorrow, like, who are you gonna get? Like, what are you gonna get? Like 100 Brian Allens on the roster? Like,
yeah,
there's nothing.
Pretty much at this point, it's you missed the window of opportunity. The window.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you could probably clear. I don't know what portion of his contract is actually guaranteed at this point now, but I suppose in theory you could then use that and make a trade for like a corner, but that's going to cost you a lot. So,
are they going to dump Jimmy at the trade deadline? I don't know. I don't think so.
Who would want what would
who can afford him?
Yeah, who would want him? Like, what team would want Jimmy? Or what
I don't think any team has the cap space right now to take him right now.
Right. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Tyler Lockett questionable to play this. Good to know.
Doesn't matter. I don't think it matters. I think still got DK Metcalf and it's Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson just will find a receiver and throw it down.
Ahmed said, if we lose this game, there will be chaos, especially because we play the Cardinals next, who we match up terrible against.
It's gonna be
funny. Last year the Niners were 2-1, then they lost their next two games and went to 2-3. They were 2-3 after the loss to the Dolphins. That was it, pretty much. I'm not saying the season's on the brink of collapse, but it's very serious right now on October 1st.
I mean, Seattle's going to come out on all cylinders because they're in a desperate place right now too. Like, because they're 1-2 in a division that's really good. So they know that they need to win this game. So they're going to come out firing, and the Niners are reeling. So
you're right. The Seahawks are 1-2 and they're flawed. They lost to the Vikings and the Titans. Would the Niners beat the Vikings and the Titans week 1, week 2, and week 3? Hard to say.
Yeah,
the Niners beat the Lions and the Eagles.
Imagine Derrick Henry running against his 49ers defense.
Yeah, think about that.
You really want to see Derrick? You see those gaping holes in the middle of the 49ers defense? That means Derrick Henry's in the open field against our corners, our safeties.
Yeah. All right, give me a prediction. Who do you think wins this game and why?
I'm going to say Seattle 35. I like 17%, 34-17, something like that.
That would be catastrophic for this team. A big 2-touchdown loss at home to your division rival to go into last place in your division. That would be really bad. Niner fans wouldn't take that well.
The thing about it is
there's much they can do about it.
We've talked about it in the offset. I never saw this team as a Super Bowl.
No, me neither.
I thought they would be a little bit above 500, around maybe like a 9, maybe 10 win team. That's where I saw this team.
Yeah.
And that was my biggest reason for like just play Lance, because you're not going to really push for a Super Bowl. So just give them the experience and let them play. Like I don't know it's going to make really that much of a difference. Like if you're not going to the Super Bowl, then you need to be preparing yourself to go to the Super Bowl in the following years. So
it just seems to me early in the season right now, while the Niners have their cornerbacks injured and DeMeco Ryans is learning on the job, it's hard to just pencil them in as the victors against teams with Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Period. And like 2019, they had a great start to the season, went 8-0. How many Hall of Fame quarterbacks do they face the first 2 months of the season?
Right.
None. Now they're facing they have 2 in a row. And then after that, they got a guy who's playing like the MVP of the league. So, DeMeco, you better have your stuff together, because right now you have no pass rush, no coverage.
See, I don't think this, to me,
and no run game.
This isn't on DeMeco. This is on Kyle. Kyle has to Kyle knows that they've got issues on defense. They don't have corners. The offense has to step up and pull the weight. Like they have to pull. They are a lot healthier. I mean, I know their running backs are hurt, but all their key guys are all there. Like Kittle's banged up, but he's gonna play. Like Debo can play. Jimmy Garoppolo is there on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So your guys are all there. Like you need, and Kyle is supposed to be the best offense coordinator in the league. So
all I'm saying though is like the Niners did do a pretty good job against Russell Wilson the last few years, even if they didn't beat him. But they had Robert Saleh. And the step down from him to D'Amico Ryan, you're going to see it. You saw it against the Packers. Saleh wouldn't have let that stuff happen. This Saleh. Old Saleh might have. Current Saleh wouldn't have. And I'm not saying that's D'Amico's fault for not being more seasoned. I mean, they knew what he was when they hired him. They knew he was inexperienced.
Yeah.
I don't understand how a team that's reluctant to start a rookie quarterback is cool with a rookie defensive coordinator. How does that make any sense? I'm just saying, logic-wise.
Well, I mean, McVay did it, right? Wade Phillips left and he gave it to some guy that never called defense.
So far, D'Amico doesn't look like Brandon Staley, but there's time. There's time.
Yeah, I know that, but I think Brandon Staley had corners, right? I mean, I don't know that. I wouldn't count on.
I mean, he's got Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, the two safety. He's not bereft of talent. Yeah, he's got some bad corners, but he's also got no pass rush right now because he's looking at these chips like, oh my God, what is that? I've never seen anything like that before. They can do that? Oh my God. So why didn't anyone tell me they could chip the defensive ends? That's ridiculous. I think the Niners' issue right now is they have no interior pass rush.
That's part of it.
If they had Buckner, that would be really making things a lot easier.
The thing, I guess, the best way to explain and why and how that experience matters as a defense coordinator is that I think Saleh had a couple years to learn, and people didn't really have the last necessarily really on him because the Niners weren't expected to turn that thing around so quickly. So he was able to learn some of these things, like when on the first or second year when his defensive end got chipped, he was able to, after the game, watch film and then learn as the time progresses, and then learn and have that in the back of his head that when you're in the game and that happens, you're like, oh, well, now I remember I saw it on film. This is what I want to do when I get chipped. Like, so D'Amico doesn't have that. D'Amico doesn't have the experience of controlling a defense and seeing those things happen and then having a solution in the back of your head and then being able to apply that solution. Saleh knows, and other defense coordinators know, having gone through that, they know, oh, if I'm getting chipped, this is what I want to do. And they don't have to think about it. They can just, oh, we're getting chipped. Let Kosaric know. And I'm surprised that Kosaric himself didn't have an answer for that because, if if you're getting chipped, I mean, even in the high school level, like as a defensive line coach, your kids are going to come off the field and be like, listen, I'm getting chipped. And you have the film, they can look and see, are they telling the truth or not?
Yeah. Well, Nick Bosa said that Chris Kosaric has him in the playbook. It's just on it's just they didn't get called. I love the use of the passive voice, meaning D'Amico didn't call him. It's not Kosaric's job. It's Kosaric's job to draw him up. It's D'Amico's job to call him. Gotta love Nick Bosa. Thank you, Nick. How was he? 24? 24?
Nick's got that like Kyle honesty, right? Like
that's what it is. I know the game. My dad played it. My brother played it. What do you want me to do? I'm the best player on the team. Am I not supposed to talk? I love that about Nick Bosa. I really do. Garoppolo, Brady, let's go 10. For sure. Yeah. That's definitely what we've learned through the years. Do you think in retrospect when Tom Brady was in the shop talking about some team sticking with that motherfucker, he was talking about Jimmy?
Yeah, I think it was Jimmy.
No doubt, right? Now that we've got more information,
he's
trying to be like, I didn't want to go there anyway.
I didn't need more information. Like, look at the situation. You know how Tom Brady is, right? Like, if Tom Brady came, like Tom Brady was looking at that, he was pinpointing Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo tried to get rid of him, or just by the nature of being there in England. And Tom got
smiling.
And then couldn't win a Super Bowl with the 49ers. That's totally Tom Brady. For Tom Brady would want to go to that team and kick and make him get off the roster again, and then take that
I want
team.
to take my job in New England. Not only are you not going to do that, but now I'm going to take your job in San Francisco.
Right, because Tom Brady wants to bury your face in the sand and like pick it up and make you look at it. Like that's how he is. So yeah, it was definitely Jimmy Garoppolo. 100%.
I think so too.
100%. I mean,
Great
who
show
else
today, man.
was it? Ryan Tannehill. Like,
no, it's definitely Jimmy, dude. Gotta love Tom Brady for being that petty. Coach, I feel like we can be that petty as well, and that's what I like about us.
Yeah, petty.
Go enjoy your Friday night. It's late. Go do something swell in Jersey.
Yeah.
Go to the clubs.
What clubs?
Jersey club music.
Oh, the new
Cookie Kwai.
The Sopranos movie drops tonight.
There's a Sopranos movie. Did they get James Gandolfini in it? Is he
making a comeback? James Gandolfini's son is playing Tony. Is playing young Tony.
No, I hate nepotism. That's not my thing. Sorry, can't watch it. Hate that. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'll be back a little later with Sibla. See ya. Nepotism.
Later, guys.